Okay, a very good morning here to you today. What are you doing? It's a Friday, last day of the week, the last day we are going to trade here today. So let us make it an amazing day by going deep and analyzing the markets and understanding exactly what we want to do and exactly what we need to do to actually make today an extreme success. So let us actually just begin here by not wasting any time. Looking at the first headline here, you can see that Trump talks with Iran are going well. We have to do meaningful deal with Iran. So, just speaking about that, we're going to see today that the crude oil actually is pumping hard right now. So, I'll just share it. So, the crude oil is pumping because of one thing. So, if you look at crude oil, Trump actually say that he's giving Iran 15 days to actually come to a conclusion and agree to actually do away with the fact that they have nuclear weaponry. So, what does this do actually? So, remember, we have been called the Silver Moon, which is a smooth corridor where oil is really passed um, Iran when they are exporting things. And if this becomes blocked, if the United States actually captures this point, then we might see the supply of oil going down. And knowing anything you know about supply and demand, you know that when supply is lower than the demand, then the prices actually do rise. So let us just keep going here today and break down the news that you have seen here on a Friday. So we saw President Trump actually speak at midnight here today, and that is where he made those remarks, and that is where we saw actually oil start to make that turn. We saw the NZD trade balances actually come in way lower, which is amazing because remember when the negative balances are actually reducing, then that is amazing for the NZD. Then we say flash manufacturing PMI actually for the AD, and also saw the governor for the Reserve Bank of New Zealand actually speak. And today here, so today here we have the German PPI, which is coming in, and this is very important for the euro. So it is coming at exactly 10 a.m. So like 7 minutes from now, we're going to get a number. So what do we want to see? We want to see the euro actually hold or actually pivot towards even raising those rates. So if you can get the PPIs to actually come way better than expected, so something like 4.5, 0.4, 0.5 thereabout, and the retail sales as well to go up. So they're expecting the retail sales to go down, but if they can go up, then that is amazing for the euro here. And if you can get those numbers, then you might solidify some of the bullish moves we had for the euro. Looking at something else here, so today we have a lot of news. So just filtering it and looking at the high impact news here today, we also have the core CPI or the core PCE price index. Remember, the PCE price index is actually very important for the Fed because it factors in things like trends and whatnot. So this is a very important inflation aspect. Remember, which day was it? Was it the day before yesterday? So the day before yesterday, we actually got the FOMC minutes meetings. So it was exactly on the 18th. So yeah, 2 days ago, we actually got the minutes from the previous FOMC, and we actually saw that they were debating, and the main reason as to why they actually remained a little bit more hawkish and even perhaps tilt to become more hawkish is because they are still wary of that inflation, and they are saying that the jobs market is not as bad and it is looking resilient. They are looking at the GDP numbers and they're thinking, you know what, perhaps the GDP is looking way more resilient, so perhaps we might actually just have
Played back
two.
simultaneously on two separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension in sound, impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.
Sorry for that one. So something happened. I don't know what. something happened with the stream. So let me just keep going. Have 4 minutes until we get the numbers from Germany. So the German BPI, which are the producer price indexes. So remember, purchasing managers, so people actually sit down in a committee, the purchasing managers, and they decide what they think is going to happen in the coming few days, what the retail price is going to look like. This is actually a fun indicator. So let's say they sit down and say that they think the purchasing managing strength actually going to increase, and that means that the euro economy is actually going to do very well. And that is very fast. We're also getting to we're getting retail sales as well for the pound. It's very, very interesting. You actually buys here for the euro GBP, which might actually be affected. So perhaps we might need to go break even to protect ourselves from some volatility. I want to look at something here. So looking at the headlines here. So one of the headlines we have Japan's inflation looks 22. So I'm not sure you can read. So let me so how can I read this? This is actually not very good for us. Not very good for us. So how many minutes? I think we have approximately 1 minute remaining until we get the numbers. So let me switch here to Forex Factory so that we can break down the numbers as they come in about 1 minute. Okay. So only like 6 seconds remaining until we get the euro numbers. Remember holding some say euro GBP, which might actually be affected. So we have put our stops to break even just to protect ourselves from any volatility that might happen. What you want to see is the euro strengthening and the pound getting weaker numbers. If you get that, then perhaps you might need to hold a little longer. Let me find trading here because I have it opened as an app. I want it open as a task so I can share it very easy. So only a second remaining. Well, also says pound have written, but subsequently think let's see. So euro still pen, still pen. Okay, amazing, amazing. So the last in so negative. Ooh, this is bad, this is bad. So we wait actually until the actual numbers come in. We're actually way more market movers than what we have here right now. So this, let me just filter this because it is confusing the fuck out of me. And it's a beautiful Friday. Remember, we are just vibing and chilling here. Dig. Not much better. So sales actually came in at 0.8%. So you can see the economy is actually really, really booming for the pound, which is actually does it solidify that we get the cuts anytime soon? Because going back a little bit time, look at what pound has received this week. So I've received inflation steadily above the 3% mark, but still rather than last time lower. Which is going higher. Which means we actually see a hold here, which is very, very strong. So we can see a time. So they want to actually boost the actually rate cut here. But we have to wait and see. We are getting a lot more here not so long from now. So then the euro until then, this is a wait and see approach. We just saw a little bit of volatility here, a little spike, and then I think we're now settling down to the fact that the euro has yet released his numbers. Remember, currencies are only traded in pairs, so one strengthening does not mean much. The other one is strengthening anymore. And why the fuck is this thing flickering, bro? Probably has something to do with OBS, bro. But what the actual fuck? Let me try something new. So I think we'll hold here until we actually get anything more concrete here from the Euro GBP. So how are we going to manage this? You can see we still haven't taken down the previous daily lows. We cannot go bearish because we're still above this zone 1. We're still above the 50 period moving average too. So looking at silver, silver is an interesting one. Silver is holding steady. Looking at gold, gold is looking a little bit bullish, way now above the $5,000 mark, which is a very important point. I think this line here for us is exactly the $5,000 number. You can see we are just playing and playing around that price. The bulls are looking at that number and saying, you know what, we can re-enter here. It's a psychological level. And then bears are looking at that number and saying, this is perhaps a place where we can start taking some profits. So it's a very, very important place for the bull bears alike. So it is a very, very important number for the bulls and the bears alike. So perhaps what I can actually do is stop that